My name's Laurel, and I'm bald. Why would you do that? Just look at my dome. I know, it's the worst haircut since Samson. I know what you're thinking. Why did you do that? Why this haircut? Why so drastic? Why now? When I was a kid, every summer I used to laugh at my brothers when they shaved their heads. They looked so dumb. Compared to their super tan skin, because they were not redheads, they had white scalps that shone like stars or something like that, and they'd run around and they looked ridiculous. I was always a little bit relieved that I didn't have to shave my head too because I wasn't a boy. But at the same time, I was also jealous. For a few reasons. My brothers had the freedom to chop their hair off. One, because they weren't redheads and it wouldn't burn the crap out of them. But also because they were boys. And I realize now that they didn't have the freedom, especially in our family, to grow their hair long like mine. But being the only girl growing up in a household of boys, all I saw was that I couldn't do what everybody else was doing, and I didn't like that. One thing you probably didn't know about being a redhead, unless you are a redhead, is that any change you do to your hair is not allowed. People revolt. One time when I was in high school, I got blonde highlights. Just a little bit, it wasn't even very drastic, but everybody went crazy. How dare you change your hair color when you don't like the color of your hair? Only we are allowed to change our hair color when we don't like it, but because you have the hair color we all want, you're not allowed to change it. One time out of nowhere, my friend Julie told me, "God, Laurel, I want to rip out your hair, shove it down your throat, and tell you to eat fire!" I'm not sure how that's relevant, though. Anyway, my point is that I really wanted to shave my head for a really long time. I've talked about it for years, but really only flippantly. I've made jokes about it, but mostly I just said, no, I don't really want to do it. I wouldn't even admit to myself that it is truly something that I wanted to do, at least once in my life. I'm not saying I want it to be permanent, but for now, I want to see what it's like. My identity has always been really strongly tied to being the redhead. That's how everybody described me, that's how everybody pointed me out. Which one's Laurel? Oh, she's the redhead. I never really minded it. I do have red hair and I like having red hair. I'm proud of it. But at the same time, I want to see who I am other than that. I'm not just the redhead, you know? We can really blame this whole thing on Matt, the guy who so thoughtfully made this heart for me when I came home from school one day. It was up there, made out of Post-its. But I've joked around with him a lot about cutting my hair off, and he always just said he'd love me no matter what, and that just made me really start taking it seriously. So when I asked him seriously, what would you think if I shaved my head? And he told me, I love you, not your hair. And it's kind of turned out to be true. And he gave me the confidence I needed to realize that I am still me without my hair. Whereas before that, the idea of separating me from my hair color, my hair itself, was unthinkable, unfathomable, but really, a rose by any other name would smell as sweet, right? In the end, I get my wish. I get to experience the world as not a redhead, which is pretty cool. So far, it hasn't really been very different. I've gotten a few more friendly stares than judgmental, a few double takes. The old man who walks his dog in front of my house every morning while I sit in the porch and read recognized me, chit-chatted with me as if nothing was different, so maybe it's not so different after all. Maybe a lot of this redhead identity thing is all just in my head. It should be cool, but I had to find that out for myself. I do expect a lot of people to think I have cancer, which let me assure you I don't. I did donate my hair to kids who do have cancer, though. I had to shave it all the way off to donate it to. It was just long enough to do that. I do have a few things coming up. I'm moving to Morocco, and that's going to be a huge change, a big culture shock. I contacted the school to see if they mind if I have a short haircut, and they said it shouldn't be a problem, and if it is, that I could always just wear hijab, which I'm not very excited about, but you know, when in Rome, wear a hijab. Maybe not. But anyway, I gotta respect the local customs. I'm also about to leave for camp, and I'm leaving tomorrow, so I will be wearing a big floppy hat every time I'm outside, and lots of sunscreen on top of that. Yeah. So I'll be fine. It should be cool. A lot has changed since 1996. My brother's grown his hair long a few times. I've shaved my head. We're flipping gender roles on their heads, which is awesome. They're all totally constructed anyway. This is something that I've wanted to do for a very long time but didn't have the guts to do. So I hope it inspires any of you to do something that you've always wanted to do but are too afraid to do. I'll still like you if you do it. That is, if I like you right now, which I might not. But anyway, thanks for watching. In the words of Christina Aguilera, "'Cause I am beautiful in every single way. Words can't bring me down. No, don't you bring me down today."